the castle of shadows and whispers. In the ancient city of St. Augustine, on the sun-drenched banks of the water, stands a majestic gray coquina fortress known as the Castillo de San Marcos. This castle is more than just a crumbling remnant of a glorious past. It is a heart that beats with the stories and souls of people who still linger in the shadows of time. The whispers of the evening breeze carry tales of loyal soldiers, desperate prisoners, and secrets sealed within its cold stone walls for centuries. It's said that this place is home to spirits who refuse to leave, as if waiting for the truth to be revealed so they can finally find peace. Chapter 1. Gaspar's Eternal Watch. On the ramparts, once a watch post for Spanish soldiers, the tall, slender shadow of a young man named Gaspar is said to always stand, unseen by most. Gaspar was a young soldier filled with ambition. He left everything behind in Spain to cross the ocean to this land brimming with hope, to protect the honor of the crown. The shimmering silver sea before him was the bright future he had dreamed of. On a night when a hurricane raged and thunder roared like an enraged beast, Gaspar fought with the enemy amidst the furious rain. Crimson blood mingled with the raindrops. Gaspar fought to his last breath, his body falling from the rampart into the abyss below. But his spirit remains bound to his noble duty. On every night of heavy rain, people still hear the heavy footsteps of a soldier patrolling the rampart, even though no one is there. That is the sound of Gaspar's footsteps, a man who still guards this castle even after his last breath has faded. Chapter 2. The Unfinished Painting. In the deepest corner of the Castillo de San Marcos, within a dark and damp dungeon, lingers the soul of a man named Juan, a talented artist, unjustly imprisoned. Juan lived a solitary life in this underground cell, with only the faint light from a narrow window to remind him that the outside world still existed. Juan awaited endlessly for the hope of returning to his beloved wife, Maria. When his longing became overwhelming, he would use a piece of charcoal to draw Maria's portrait on the cold, damp stone wall. His eyes were filled with the determination to finish the painting to console his lonely heart. But fate played a cruel trick on Juan. He met his end alone in the darkness and despair, before he could complete his wife's face. On silent nights, the sobbing of a man can sometimes be heard from the dungeon, the wailing of Juan, who still yearns for his home and family. And if you look closely, the outline of his wife's portrait will slowly reappear on the wall, as if Juan is still lingering to complete his final mission. Chapter 3. The Unmistakable Whisper. The tales of the Castillo de San Marcos were widely known throughout the city, but not to everyone. Captain Andres Luis, the new officer in charge of the castle, never believed in these mysterious stories. He was a man of principle and reason, and he saw these tales as nothing more than fabricated folklore. That was until one night, while he was making his rounds alone, he heard heavy footsteps close by. When he turned to look, there was no one there. Luis froze as a faint but distinct whisper reached his ear. "Protect our home." The voice was filled with sorrow and pain. Luis dared not look back. He quickly strode forward, but the whispers and footsteps followed him all the way to his office. When he quickly opened the door and entered, all sounds instantly ceased. Luis spent the whole night pondering what had happened. He knew for certain that what he had heard was not a figment of his imagination. He could feel the sorrow and despair in that whisper, as if someone was faintly pleading for his help. This experience shook his beliefs. He began to doubt everything he had once been so sure of. Conclusion: a ballad of memories. The stories of the Castillo de San Marcos are passed down from generation to generation. Some say they are just fanciful tales embellished over time. But those who have heard or felt them for themselves know that this place is not just a beautiful old castle in the morning light. It is a place where loyal and desperate souls still linger, waiting for the day the truth will be revealed and their spirits will be set free. As long as the Castillo de San Marcos stands, the stories of Gaspar, Juan, and others will live on in the memories of people. They are a ballad of memories that never fade from this land, and a reminder that history is not just inscribed on paper, but continue to live in the shadows of time. Do you think these stories are merely fabricated legends? Or are they the whispers from spirits who want us to hear them?